I just finished watching this episode and I knew it was going to be entertaining. So I showed up with my bowl of popcorn. I encourage you to do the same. I not only was it entertaining, it's always a good time when talking with John, a great balance of silliness and seriousness that I love, but it was also very emotional. I would not be here today without the relationship that I developed with John. I mean, obviously, God put me here, and I have a calling that I am working towards fulfilling with the power of the Holy Spirit. And John was one of the biggest catalysts for just embracing my humanness. And that all was happening behind the scenes. But now John is sharing his full journey vulnerably and authentically. And I could not be more proud of what we have been able to accomplish together and now what we are accomplishing on our own. I hope that I was able to be as affirming and encouraging in his journey as he was to mine. So anybody that has heard the name John Glon, he's either famous or infamous for where I land today, depending on the perspective. There's a happy element to this. I don't fully know how people are embracing where I am right now. I am in a complete place of freedom. And John gave me permission to do that. And I know now part of my calling is to give other people permission to follow the plan God has for them, regardless of what the world is saying. John is the true dream manager. I don't know if you had read that book by Matthew Kelly. I'm in it right now, and he fully embraces this concept. I forgot that we talked about the year of Jubilee and, just different things as we were remembering where we've been and where we are now. This is a fantastic story, and I hope that it inspires you to do the next right thing. Welcome to Pursuing Joy, where we discuss audacious stories of joy-infused strength.
I am John Glon. I am 100% human, husband, father, growth coach for leadership teams and humans trying to better their lives.
Okay.
And I do that by utilizing the Bloom Growth Operating System, which is a communication execution system. And ultimately, we do that by human connection, prioritization, and simplification.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Welcome, John of 2026.
Yeah, we went back and forth quite a bit about Jubilee for 2025.
Oh, yeah.
You recall that. And that was for real. 2025. It was Jubilee. Lots of different things happened. Good, bad, ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And really set us up for 2026 and beyond. I'd like to rephrase yours of the John Glon 2026 as the John Glon now. John Glon that always was.
All right. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I have all. Yes. There's a shedding of all the things.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that reminds me now I got to bounce a theory off of you just based on that, but I'm going to wait on that. So okay. This is John now. Let's just back up a little bit. Cause I think I feel like I have a pretty fun journey too, but it wouldn't have been as fun if you weren't a part of it, because I had a person on my podcast telling me last week, like he was in this same similar thing of always feeling crazy until he met the other crazy people and then realized it wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you not only did you make me feel like I wasn't crazy, I embraced the crazy, and then you opened this whole door of all the other crazy people
Yeah, yeah,
out there, and I'm like, okay. And the thing is, I this last year, my community has dwindled, and I had to do that. Um, One, I felt like I was called to do that. Had to be very purposeful in the direction I wanted to go in, but this screen here opened up a whole new community. Like, I live in the middle of nowhere, peanut fields, cotton fields, and I could tell you I have been in the mastermind of my life just through virtually connecting with people
yeah,
in my home, and it is what has opened up 2026. I have gained so much more than what I could have got from a book or
yeah.
people that are they're, I believe they're living in their joy, so it won't but it's not what brings me joy.
Sure.
Right? So the people that um are living a different kind of American dream. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So let's go. So you uh started Great Lakes Essential Power,
Uh-huh.
which is a manufacturer's rep company that is kind of difficult to explain in and of itself.
Yeah.
I feel like you if you want to explain that you can, but I want the things that opened up when you started working with Coach Bob, and the thing, like, as we went into my operating manual and
Mhm.
finally getting here to this sweet spot, because I don't want anybody to think that they are, because this is the trajectory now,
Mhm.
that if that feels like a failure or you didn't complete that, it's just a
Mm.
part it's
Yeah.
just a part of the path. It gets you to the next place, and I feel like your story highlights that
Yeah.
hugely.
Yes, the book would follow along, to hit that story. So, yeah, I started Great Lakes Essential Power 12 years ago. I mean, officially, the anniversary was this week, the 20th, of when
Oh,
officially, like,
okay.
legally was formed. However, I started working on the process, 10, 12 months earlier than that. So, that's when I really think I started my entrepreneurial journey, was that year prior to it actually starting, was me planning it out, connecting, thinking about what I wanted to do, seeing the opportunity. Um, because at the time I worked for GE, and there were 6 different divisions of GE calling into the same electrical marketplace. None of them knew them of each other. They never knew what the market was, and so I figured I had an opportunity to be that one person. And so that's when I started the business, selling heavy electrical equipment in the construction and the industrial space. So that's evolved since then. But what really has happened for my own journey is when I was in corporate America. So I started with GE out of college because I just wanted to start making money, and I thought the biggest name to get on my resume would have been GE, and accomplished that, right? And then the more I went through that, realized corporate world is not for me. I'm a terrible employee. Although my employers would, again, I performed, and so there's, you could say maybe I was pretty good at it, but then just looking back, no, I'm stubborn. I know I want to do my own way.
Mhm.
I don't follow that well. So, so that started my real foray into entrepreneur, right? And relying on myself and risking things on my own. I had a young family at the time. My wife thought I was a little crazy, but we did it. And again, had a great time at it. Um, got to have the things, the homes, the country club stuff, all those nice things. COVID hit, and I had to shift quite a few things. And I think at that time, we were in the construction industry here in Michigan, and so it really got shut down, and our cash flow got pushed way out to 2 years beyond what it normally would because of just because of availability of product, et cetera. And so I went to the bank and said, "Hey, I think we can see our way through this in a year, but I don't want to get rid of all my people. I want some cash to be able to keep this thing going." All the while, I did a pretty wild. reorganization of the company, trying to reconfigure how we do sales. Hired a lot of people, and things didn't turn around. Right, we didn't start getting paid back again in a couple weeks. It was still 2 years, and we didn't grow the business because I had my head out of it. I wasn't in it to push it to make sure we did it. We never really endorsed it. So 2 years later, we scrapped it, and I was almost $1 million in debt. And at that point, I was just so sour on the business. I had a partner that we represented that I wasn't really, that didn't enjoy doing business with, that was constantly just trying to hurt my business. And again, I just got soured on the business and kind of put my head in the sand. At that same time, I was running around town here locally, showing everybody I don't have to work, right? I'm the business owner. So I have people making money for me, and just gallivanting around doing this, doing that, meeting people. Because all the while I was trying to figure out what the heck I wanted to do. And I was coming closer to realize I didn't want to do it in the business. And that's when I met Coach Bob. And it was one of those frantic times when I had heard about him through Mike Coates, our
Oh gosh, he's
buddy.
on next week.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, another one of my favorite humans on the planet.
Yes.
He introduced me to Coach Bob. I was like, I know I need something. He knew I needed something. He said, Coach Bob has this mountain. He has visionary coaching. And I called Coach Bob. I looked at a bunch of his videos, and I was like, all right, I get it. I do want to go do this. And I called him and said, I got to go to the mountain with you. I'm not really going for the next 4 months. I'm like, oh crap, what do you have? What do you have next? And so I started doing visionary coaching with him. And a lot of it was the similar principles that I'm doing today. It was just helping on personal introspection. What drives me? What really excites me? Celebrate what can be considered a fault, or what I've considered a fault, or others would celebrate that, step into it, and put others around me that can complement it. And the more I started realizing and finding myself through that whole process, going to the mountain, which again I've talked about numerous times on podcasts and whatnot. That was the mountain was the shift in my life, where my marriage wasn't going well. I wasn't being a good father, in my head, wasn't being a good business owner. And, and really on the flight out there, I was on my way out there to, one of the parts of things we were talking about is what I want to go find, what do I want to figure out about myself. And I went out there and I realized, there's way more details to this, but I'll try to keep it short. But we were on the way out there. I'm in tears. I'm really self-reflecting. And I say, you know what? I want a better relationship with my wife, which sounds great. And it is great. But the more that we started going through the process, and we're hiking up the mountain, I'm fast forwarding through some things, but we're going up the mountain. One part of the mountain trip, the hike up, and I'm talking to our shaman, Leaf Running Rabbit, who runs this part of it right before we're going to do the sweat lodge, and we're going up the mountain, and again just having deep conversations. Right, it's over an hour plus of this hike up the mountain to where we're going to have this ceremony, and he just can't remember the context we were talking about, but I just said, we're all just looking for the easy button, and because we're talking about how do we be present and meditate, and everyone's like, all right, I'm just like, hey, just cut it, right? We all want an easy button. He's like, I said, or an instruction manual, and then of course he says it's right here. He points to me, it's in my heart, and like, okay, yeah, I've heard that. Yep, I got to unlock it. Blah, blah, blah. I heard that so many times in different ways, but it never clicked. That was when the time it really So by the time I'm just sitting in silence and I'm walking up, and then we get to the ceremony, and part of the ceremony is you're looking at the Continental Divide, huge range of mountains across the way. We're top of Burnt Mountain, and part of this ceremony is you're holding up a ceremonial claw from an eagle and doing these things. Right, this is the Indian. American Indian philosophies and things. So anyway, you're supposed to look at it and say, I want X, right? And in that moment, it clicked in my head and said, I want to find me. And my body just shuddered. Like, I don't know if you remember Benny Hinn, if you're watching any of those things.
I know what you're talking about.
On PBS, they strike them and they fall over, That was me. And then I just sat and cried for 20 minutes. So that more beyond there, but I just realized, no, this wasn't, I was projecting everything else on all of my issues on everyone else and everything else, and not really facing it with myself. And so that started really the transition of me, of uncovering me. And so that led to coaching under Bob even more, going through the iMatter system and really, again, finding my North Star, finding out who I really was. And then I was still just trying to figure out, how do I help people? I tried to do some individual executive coaching, which I enjoyed, but then I wasn't making enough impact. Came across Working Genius as, go figure. This is how you came to be with this. We went through that journey together of me
Yeah.
becoming a certified
Destroyed
working.
my world.
Yeah, I killed you.
Same
Yeah.
way, whatever the mountain was for you, even though it wasn't as spiritual, Working
Yeah.
Genius disrupted my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Julie was a part of all of, you weren't a part of all of that. You were part of the last few years of that, from the mountain on, and me finding Working Genius and me struggling, trying to lead one business, but then I'm really tugged to go do other things. And, yeah, came across, and Working Genius seems so simple to me. Again, it's about enjoying who we are and believing in it and sharing and celebrating who other people are. And so did that. And then all along, I wanted to work with leadership teams on a more consistent basis. And then I facilitated for Bloom Growth, the software company, for their leadership team and ownership team for a full day. And they said, "Hey, we're starting this operating system and coaching practice. We think you'd be great." And I said, "Well, I think so too. That's what I want to go do." So that was September 29th, 2023.
Yeah, but before that,
Yeah.
Working Genius was like the opened up doors, and that's part of it. But you did a Working Genius session for a group of like 8 integrators, right? And that's
Oh,
how we ended up over
yeah.
with Bloom Growth, right? So
Oh,
just
yeah.
following the next step of like what's in front of you with Working
Oh,
Genius.
yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I skipped over a lot of steps because I know
I know, I know, but I feel like that just because I feel like all of my last year was putting in that work with not a lot of payoff. And we were doing Working Genius here and there, but had you not been doing Working Genius, the relationship that
oh,
got you to Bloom Growth would
you're right.
not.
No, you're absolutely right. And just leaning in and trying something, right? It was,
Right.
and to your point, it was through, again, mutual friend Christy Clayton, that I would be talking about and gushing about Working Genius through my EOS circle of friends. And then it kind of started catching some fire. And she said, "Hey, I'd like you to present to this key group of integrators." And that's where it started, right? Getting people of influence. And then, to your point, I've just been connecting for the last 2-3 years with people, with amazing people. And when you're leading in with something like a Working Genius, or to me, Bloom Growth, that these are positive things that we're bringing to humanity, only good things come out of it, right? If it's someone we don't want to spend time with, that probably doesn't meet our values, they're not going to get excited about the same things we are.
No.
So it's absolutely, I mean, it's like a relationship filter without even trying, right? Because again,
Yes.
the people that relate to the stuff that we're trying to bring to the world, they're our people, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's why we connect with them. That's why we continually try to help refer each other, because it's like, good humans trying to do good things.
And we've got to stop trying to force ourselves into the spaces that aren't that.
Well, yeah, because I think both of us are, we have the infliction of trying to help the wounded. Um, and maybe because we are the ones that are wounded or have been.
You not see the light.
Yeah. And so you're right. I just had this conversation with someone, right? We spend so much time because we see someone who we view, sorry, judgment, but they need this so bad, right? I mean, like when I meet with a new prospective client, I'm like, "Oh my, you're dripping with need." But they either don't see it, which is fine, or the ego can't let them admit that they might have a fault in something. And so then we spend so much time like, "Oh, I want to get them as a client. I want to help them so much, because
Yes.
then we're going to move them over the finish line." And I just realized I spend so much time doing that it's a drain on my energy. Because not that I'm not trying to help, because I always do, but that I'm trying to sell them too much.
Yes.
I think that's what's exhausting.
Mhm.
Even when they're in it, even though they're a paying client, right? I've had to let some clients mutually go because it's like, this is not, you're wasting your money. And because this is not, we're not going to get over the finish line together. And
Right.
I don't want to do it just to do it. Um, so, again, I think inherently it's like those that get it, they're going to come. And it's like we just talked about earlier. When you're not paying attention, you're not looking, that's when they're going to show up.
Yes.
They might not want to sign up right when you're there, but it'll turn around. Like my newest client, I mean, I talked to him a year and a half ago. I talked to him a year ago. I talked to him 6 months
Right.
ago.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
checking in, seeing where I know I can help. Nah, we're pretty good. And then it was the call before the end of the year. It's like, maybe I'm not so good. Maybe I'm a little too comfortable. And, that's just, and again, I knew all along he's the kind of person that in the business that I want to deal with.
Mhm.
But man, if he's ready, great. If he's not, he's not.
Right.
And, and it's just, and it's, guys, great people working for, it's no surprise. He has great people working for him and it's a ton of fun to help facilitate their sessions because they're
Right.
eager to
Yes,
do the good
because
things.
yes. And they're going they will they and it has to be a partnership. They're partnering together to
Yeah.
get the thing done. Um, and I think I like last year, I kept telling people, I'm a very poor connected person." So, like,
Oh.
I can connect you with this person. I think this makes sense. I have used my podcast more for referring other people to other people than I have
Yeah.
the way that I am supposed to use it supposedly. But those conversations and those connections are bearing fruit this
Yeah,
year. I
they
just had
will,
to
right?
plant the seeds where they're supposed to be.
It's amazing what help first and
Yes.
abundance mentality does, right?
So,
We
and
talked
I
about that
think
quite a bit over the years too, right?
oh
Sorry.
gosh. Oh, scarcity and abundance. Yes, that's
Yeah.
been a huge because the scarcity brain follows you into abundance and you've got to completely shift your mind. Something that this accountability group, so the accountability group is based off the 12-week year. It's a book that sounds very much like EOS to me,
Mhm.
but the premise of it, because I was like, oh, I'll read this and I'll totally catch on in this and I'll be great at this. I know about annual goals and quarterly goals and rocks and how you make this happen. But what flipped the switch for me is the mindset that the habits. So my word for the year is discipline too, which is insane. But
Ugh.
but it is I'm realizing that the freedom comes from that. And
Mhm.
so it's the habits and the process that fuel the outcome. Like if you're constantly looking at the rock or the quarterly goal or
Yeah.
the annual goal, it's the habits that you're forming that are going to make that happen that you win regardless of the outcome. The thing happens just by the daily things that you're doing. And that I mean, that's how an athlete becomes great, right? Just
Mhm.
those things that they're doing, um, and they want to win, like a Super Bowl or whatever, but the win is who they're becoming in
Mm.
the process,
Yeah.
and that's where these actions that I'm accountable for every day are building me into a different person, or a better
Mm.
person, or a better version of myself, regardless of the outcome, but the outcome will happen too. Just
Yeah.
because of that, like, laser focus. So,
Yeah, and you're not losing yourself in the process, right? You're still you, even though again,
right.
we wore it as a badge on our sleeve, like you said, like we were both late to this. You're like, "Yeah, go figure. We're both late to this thing." Um, but you don't lose yourself, but just by being more disciplined, right?
Right.
Anything, it helps you jump more into it. I realized I lost my. You recall, I think I used to keep some time open in my calendar for big thinking, right? Or for
Mhm.
and as I was doing double time over the past year and a half, launching a practice and keeping some things going in the other company, just got back to busyness. And I was doing the right thing. I was doing a lot of great work, right? Of actually the stuff that I don't love doing, whether it's marketing, CRM, but I was doing the work. But then I just realized, I mean, I blinked and it's 4 months later, and I haven't stopped to think big in a while. Because Mondays were always my day.
Right.
But then I filled those up with coaching things I needed to do. And again, great momentum happened, but then I just realized I'm I'm doing 1x thinking, if 2x at best, but 1x.
All right.
So I was like, well, all right, well, I got to get back to giving myself some time on Mondays. And there's that
Yes.
discipline too of just not having things to plan out the bigger things. So it's been invigorating to get back to that.
Yes. My weekends, I mean, you don't have this situation and you don't want this situation, but well, 2 things actually made me think. So, I used to so the girls are gone, my 4 girls are gone every other weekend.
Mhm.
And I used to fill my time to the max because I didn't want to feel that they weren't here.
Yeah.
I didn't like the silence, and I would just fill my schedule up. And last year I just started taking those weekends for long walks and thinking and clarity and journaling,
Mhm.
and uh it has changed just the way that I'm leading my life. And it has given me a lot more insight to myself and what I want, which is a question that used to scare the bejesus out of me.
I recall.
What do I want? What do I want? I don't want to answer that. So it has transformed that, but also as far as the girls and I as a family, we now shut down all electronics on the weekends they're with me from 6 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Saturday. And we have like a true Sabbath.
Oh, wow.
And I used to feel a lot of pressure to perform for them on the weekends that I
Right,
had
yeah,
them.
show them
Oh God.
experiences
And I would go 90 to nothing doing all
yeah,
the things. Um and there's nothing planned anymore. And it's not like I feel like I have to fill that space. The day just unfolds in a natural way, and
mm,
it has changed the atmosphere of our home, and I don't feel guilty for the way that I'm having to hustle right now during the week, and I even take a
mm,
few hours on Sunday now to set myself up well for the week, but
mhm,
because I shut it all down and had that focus,
yeah,
there's no guilt for that, and they don't feel I get what I need, they get what they need, and
yeah.
it's been really good.
Wow, that's great. Well, for everyone who doesn't know, um, you like there isn't another person like you. There is another mom like you that you've been doing this solo for a while. And it's always everyone I tell anyone any story I would tell someone, she's like, well, you're doing what? Like you drove them up to Michigan to come hang out for the week to you working? Like what? And figuring out who can babysit. Like it's just and thinking of things to go dream for them to go do. Um, the effort and focus you put on each and every one of them when again you're trying to provide, you're trying to do all these things. It's just been homeschooling for crying out loud.
That's
Like,
that is happening. I don't know if I'm
unbelievable.
doing it, but it is
Oh,
happening.
but then you raised 4 amazing girls that are doing it, right? They're learning to be not reliant. Um,
Mhm.
they're learning to rely on each other,
Oh,
relying on
yeah,
one.
no, they have no, I feel like they will be able to launch very well, and they're helping with the podcast, they're helping with my email, they're setting up appointments for me. Um,
That's so cool.
they're in the business because I don't want them to think that they're putting forth my dream. Like this is my dream, and we get set to the side for mom's dream. I want it to be something that everybody partakes in and bears fruit from ultimately. So, but thank you for that. I don't really I feel like I do feel well, I know there's a spiritual element here that spurs me on and makes all this
Mhm.
happen. If I was doing this in my own strength, which I have before and have gotten very sick
Yeah.
from. So it's but I know for a fact if I hadn't come across your path as a virtual assistant, I would probably still just be like, "Oh, I'll just do I'll just do this. This will
Yeah.
be fine. And the every like 2 to 3 months, especially last year, I would freak out and I'm like, I'm just gonna go apply for a W-2 job. I'm just gonna do that. That's
Yeah.
just the right thing. It's the responsible thing to do,
Yeah.
Julie. And then I'm like, okay, that's not going to work for me. Um,
Yeah. For put in perspective, so we didn't even tell that part of the story, how we came to be. So what year was this? Do you
that was
remember?
2020.
2020. So, one, I was, part of my way back when running the company, thinking how to make myself better. I just needed an assistant to make me more effective. Well, it didn't make me go do anything else. I just needed someone to really commiserate with, I think is probably what it was. And so found Julie through a virtual assistant service. And I don't remember how long it was into it. The more we were just talking about, and by the way, at the same time, I think she was teaching English to Chinese
I
students.
was doing a few things.
Again, hustling, doing all, working for another person, through virtual
Mhm.
assistant, because it wasn't full time. And the more we just started talking about and thinking about your dreams, what do you want to do? And I think I do this often because we have another friend, Jenny, who I did almost the same thing to, but uh, asking what you want to do, what are your dreams, what are you trying to accomplish, and the more we just talk through like mechanics of what she's doing, I'm like, well, hey, what if I just buy you out of your contract and you come work directly for me? And so we did that, and then I couldn't tell you what your job was for a few years because you just jumped in and did whatever the company
I
needed.
know that line of credit that you were just talking about was almost gave me a heart attack every other day. I know that was part of it.
Yeah, sitting in our finance seat, which helping with things there, which good. We got to check it off a list of that's not something you want to do,
Yes.
but probably prepared you a little bit for what you're doing now on your own.
Definitely.
And so Julie was my commiserator. She was my cheerleader. She was my accomplice in figuring a lot of these things out. And, ultimately, uh, again, many things along the way of me thinking I'm helping her by giving her opportunities, but then I'm hanging around and not letting her go fly free and do things on her own. And ultimately, we just had to say, hey, because you were just trying to help me launch my practice.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, no, I'm not really doing anything. You need to go launch your practice. I'm trying to figure this out. And, you were halfway doing it on your own, but still under me, under our payroll. And then until we said, all right, you know what? I am not serving you. I said, I'm not serving you. I'm holding you back by trying to keep you around here. We think we know what you want to go. We know the framework of what you want to go do. You won't be truthful to yourself about what you really want to do, or you're scared of that. But you stepped out onto your own, and it's been beautiful because you haven't and I think back when I think I needed you to need me. I needed people to need me.
It,
And now you don't call me to ask for anything. It's like before I'm like, well, hey, here's how you should do it. Then I just feel better because I'm trying to help you do something. But you've just been going out and doing it.
well,
It's
that
been
was
amazing.
the scariest thing ever. And I think so. And I'm glad you said this because I actually wanted to highlight this because I had Forrest Durr, who is an integrator turned entrepreneurial fractional integrator,
Mhm.
and he made the statement that when integrators leave visionaries, it almost is like a divorce in the sense that the visionary feels like you have gone off with a mistress, so to
Yeah.
speak. And that he feels based on his experience, if the visionary makes the decision, then they can still be friends afterwards. But if
Mhm.
the integrator makes the decision, then it's taken very personally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it can be it done well. It's a very intimate relationship, right? There's a lot of trust back and forth, and
Yes.
yeah.
So that conversation, I I remember I was like, and now I have to go start my own business. Like it wasn't like I was been behind the scenes getting all this stuff
Yeah.
together, and I just had to pop tell you what was going to happen, and I was ready for it. It was not like that at all. but it was consistently for a good 8 weeks, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night, knowing that we needed to make this decision. Not that there was anything overtly negative going on. It just, neither one of us were going to go towards our full potential without doing that. And I don't even have a great explanation for that, other than the fact that the relationship had developed in that way of reliance, but
Yeah.
but not really pushing each other to the next level, or having those habits that I was just talking
Yeah.
about. And I think we had to go and kind of figure it out. And literally the next day, I was like, I need a business name. I need a business website. And but it was also such a great conversation, because you must have had something going on in the back of your mind as well, because it literally was just a conversation like, okay, now we're going to go do something else
Well,
separately.
yeah, I really truly remember it was a handful of things were going on, but it was a conversation with Abizer and me realizing, and it's not dissimilar to someone else that in the GLEP side of the world, that I think I'm trying to help, but I'm really just holding the hand and not really letting them move forward. Like we talked about, you jumping off and doing your own thing. But until you were forced to go do it, like I remember I was just coming to your aid. I'm like, well, you can just use my operating manual business in the back.
Yeah.
You can go do your thing, and then you've already got the stuff already set up. Just go use it. And if it's there, you're not going to go do it. And you worried about me and what I'm doing is not going to help you doing what you're doing, and me worried about you is not going to help me.
Yes.
It's one of those. As much as we wanted to be in each other and cheer each other on, we're not serving. We weren't serving ourselves in the best way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that comes across in a selfish way. I just think that when you're doing something massive, like shifting your career, which I just did
Both of
again,
us were doing.
I'm doing again, and most people just trudge through life for the remainder. I'm just going to keep doing this because I couldn't possibly. Now I've got all this. I've got kids. I've got a house. I can't possibly take a risk like this. We were both cashing in big chips to,
Right.
I don't know about big chips, but just a lot of risk.
I think so.
That's beyond money, right? It's
Right.
family and everything else.
People
And
depending.
yeah, and in order to do that, you can't tiptoe. You've got to
yes.
go.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I do have to go in like 4 minutes, by the way.
I don't really have to.
I've got.
You probably do.
I do.
Well,
I have a leadership team that I'm presenting. So we have our annual meeting next week, and I've got to.
Okay, so you have some
today
things,
to
but you
do
don't
this.
have some. So can I take 10 more minutes?
Yeah, we can make it work.
Okay. So 2 things. Well, I think 3 things. So one, I remember you saying way before anything started really materializing, everything was more just a dream, literally on a whiteboard. You were saying, what if our careers is all about talking to people? What if that's the basis, like that's the career? And I was like, that sounds amazing, but that will never happen. And literally my voice is almost gone every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I
my
put it way too, is I was like, I just want to show up. Right. I don't want to have to strategize, think, plan. I just want to be able to show up and then present and be able to provide what I am.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing.
Yes. Another thing is, I always thought you would, it would freak me out when you would put money towards something on faith. And like, okay, this is going to grow the business. This is a chunk of money, but I'm going, but it should materialize into this or that or whatever. And I am currently doing that. And I'm like, okay, I've seen this work. It's going to be fine. This makes sense. So I needed to see that kind of materialize. And what was the hold on. Oh, I was just talking to John Maginey about this yesterday, and he was like, this is part of the learning. You have to
Mhm.
learn. And we already knew this in my going towards recruiting. My retainer is not large enough. And I am in the red right now on job postings.
Mhm.
Because I didn't do enough market research. I felt like I've been in Michigan and doing Michigan
Yeah.
stuff for long enough, and I didn't realize what was going to happen based on there being more jobs and less people.
Mhm.
And but I am renegotiating in 2 months, but uh it has been a learning experience, and I and I
Yeah.
could hear you in the back of my head, like, okay, you're not everybody. We all know this, right? We're
Yeah.
not charging enough. We want to help people. We want to,
Yeah.
do the thing. And so that has been um that is something that okay, I heard it. I didn't quite listen to it, and now I've learned from it, and I move on. But
Yeah.
but I had to jump into the fire to even,
You
get the
don't know.
experience.
Just doing is better than being paralyzed by thinking about it, right? And then I'll throw the nugget back on, investing on faith is what you called it. I think what I learned in the past is I would just invest and throw money at something and expect something to happen. Um, Sometimes it did, and that's probably what led me to do those sort of things. But with the right intention, with the right belief, and the right work after the fact, the discipline, that's when it really makes it worthwhile,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes, exactly.
betting on
Definitely.
yourself is going to be the best money you can spend.
There truly is joy in the journey. Continue listening for where we are now.
Well, before we get into it, I mean, how are you doing? Are you getting some traction? Are you
Um, my whole
wildly
world has
wealthy now?
changed.
Yeah.
Everything has changed. And so the thing is, though, I heard this said the other day. At the point of commitment, you will be challenged.
Hmm.
So every time I get into this is the way it's going to go, this is what I'm going to do, or bring any order to my life,
Yeah.
something crazy happens. So in October, I attempted that, and Jocelyn had to have her appendix taken out.
Hmm.
2 weeks ago, so I joined an accountability group, but I have an
Okay.
accountability person that calls me at 8 o'clock every morning to check
Every
on
morning.
my action items, and we rate each other from the day before. This is something from Becky Sampson, who I actually met in Armando's mastermind.
Yeah.
I had her on my podcast, and she started this accountability group.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I started that, my water started seeping out of my floorboards. I never knew that water could come up
Hmm.
out of a floor. I've never had that experience. But for over a week, I was thought the kids were dripping water on the floor. I was
Yeah.
like, why are my socks getting wet? What are y'all doing? And
Yeah.
then I finally realized. And so that was, I haven't had to take my floor up. I've bleached it and bleached it and bleached it, and got a pipe that was leaking under the sink that I had no idea about for who the heck knows how long for
Yeah.
water to start. But things like that are, and I'm just in the point where I'm like, okay, I know this is going to happen now.
Yeah.
I just it cannot take me off track.
Yeah.
So the latest crazy thing is, so 8 months ago, a beezer gave me a referral. And this is how crazy this world works, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
I've heard about a beezer from you for
Uh-huh.
forever, but then know him or talk to him until he was in Armando's mastermind. And I had a personal question for him. I needed his like wisdom and guidance.
Yeah.
And called him right after that to talk to him about that. Well, then like a week later, he sends me a referral. And I got up to the contract point 3 times with this client. And it wouldn't happen. Something would happen. And it wasn't happening. So I was like, okay, you just don't really need this service or want this service or something's not happening here. And I don't know why. But it was right in line with the whole theme of last year. Like it was no movement, slowness, silence, things that make me insane.
Yeah.
And it literally took probably 7 months for my central nervous system to finally, okay, you're going to be okay. You're not dying.
Yeah.
I felt like I was borderline in poverty. I was kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
But finally I was like, I fully surrendered. And it all, like, I finally started listening, and like the first week of January, the whole world like opens up. I am insanely busy right now. The referral, well, what happened, I guess he sent the link, that my scheduling link, to somebody else in his business. And nobody said, hey, Julie, let's talk. I just noticed a name on my calendar all of a sudden. And so that day I was like, okay, I'll just click on this and see what happens. There's 3 people on there that I've never talked to. And I was like, so what are we meeting about today, guys?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is happening? And and so what I think happened is he tried to use his own HR department, but was small, to do the recruiting, but his business was growing so rapidly. I think they were like, like, we can't do this anymore. And so I think he just was like, here, call this person.
Awesome.
So that opened up. And so now I have so that happened. In the meantime, I had 2 belay clients. One belay client, all he does is refer me. He does not tell anybody about belay. So now I have kind of a integrator, assistant, recruiter role for a company in Alabama, because he told someone at this conference about me. And I'm flying out, so let me tell you this too. So I talked to John Majney yesterday.
We probably should have scheduled time beforehand to catch up.
No, I'm telling you, you're going to love this when I put it all together.
All right,
just
cool.
Trust the art, trust the wonder and discernment.
Got it. Yeah.
So, okay. So I told John Majney this yesterday, because John Majney is using me in like, not in the way he's doing like a la carte. He's not asking me for anything offered. This is the total side thing that I've just been doing for him. But I'm driving to Houston, and I'm literally going to be in New Orleans while the 2 of you are in New Orleans, just like driving through. But we could figure out a way to like meet up or hang out, because I just happen to be doing that. And a
lot of people are going to be there too.
I wanted to know who was going to be there, and I want to talk to you about the Working Genius thing. So
I got
I'm driving to Houston to see my sister, flying to Houston to Amarillo for the belay client to introduce me to a big recruiting client in his city. And so this is all just from, I'm doing the regular like virtual assistant stuff.
Yeah.
But I've seen all their gaps, and I know the things.
Yeah.
And they've just been like, oh, okay, you obviously need to be doing more than this. So they've been singing my praises. And now what I have to do is let go of belay.
Right. There you go.
Ugh, but that is freaking me out. So that is
It's
a
a
new
safety net.
thing. That is new. That is a new thing to have to.
That's your safety net that you need to, that
Yes.
you don't need to. You have an opportunity to burn that bridge, burn that boat.
Yes, definitely. So I want to know what is going on with you.
So we're doing this podcast now, right? Like we're just going.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. You think this is
Hey.
I don't do this with everybody, but I do this with people that.
Yeah. You know what? It's everyone getting a glimpse of us catching up, and we're doing it, fast fashion. So with me, I am now, and I can say this on here now, depending on when you're actually going to publish this, inching closer to making GLEP an employee-owned company. And April 1st is when I'm giving myself the timeline, and I still have some rollouts due to the team. So, haven't said a lot of that out loud, and meaning publicly.
Right.
But that, as you know, that's been a piece of a huge piece of my life in a great way. But also, knowing that my future intentions have been to step into the coaching world, and I've been doing that for the past couple of years, and really getting energized by that and loving it. As you've been a part of all of that journey of me finding what the heck I want to do. I don't know how many hours we've spent talking about what ifs and what we want to do. We've had a year off, probably, but there for a while. I mean, you were my partner in crime of trying to just like, man, what in the world am I put on this planet for? And I still love the Working Genius. We talked through that. I do use that in my coaching with my clients, but it's not has not been a target for me. But the Bloom Growth Coaching has been such a blessing, and it is just scratching the itch in my core. And because it is doing not just the business planning that you're accustomed to, right? The quarterly session or the weekly meetings, and having our version of the VTO called Growth Plan. It's the personal breakthroughs that I get to be a part of, and that's a part of the Bloom curriculum. And it's each day I'm with the client, we do a relationship exercise, and it's about obviously with each other on the team, but most of it's your own personal stuff, and what's holding you back from then having a relationship with someone else because of what you're holding on to internally. And it's been, and my personal journey too, of me I've been working on that for years, figuring out my own hiccups and hangups, and that's never going to stop. But that helps me in my own journey, personally, professionally, with how I show up, and I get to, I get to have people who tell me I've made a difference in their life, which is really cool, and not even based on the business. It's like, I'm actually practicing this at home, and my relationship with my wife has never been better. It's that part is just, oof.
The overflow is crazy. My children are reaping the benefits of working and living in your joy, right?
How about that? Yeah. Yeah. And the struggles that I've gone, I have personally gone through, whether it's, the financial situation that we found ourselves in through managing the company, to the relationships that we have had professionally that were not serving us. And what that did to me, my psyche, my stress, how I would show up for my employees, how I show up for my family, my kids, my wife. And, part of me, there's I all the shame that brought me to that point. Uh, I feel like those are some of the darkest times for me, for myself, of spending my whole life trying to be, uh, trying to run away from or just try to climb a mountain from where I came from. And, and then having to take a step back for a few years. That's the toughest part of my life ever. But I'm no longer beating myself up over it either. That's the problem. It was like a downward spiral, right? It was being in that and then just continually saying, "Oh, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing to the business?"
But it makes you a great coach too.
I would like to think so, right? Because I'm not teaching based on philosophies and
no experience.
Textbooks. It's experience,
real life. That's
yeah,
way better, and I truly believe those dark times are for us to do exactly that.
Absolutely. Through this, I really found God, and that really reflecting and knowing that was a part of the journey, and truly believing in the mistakes. What am I here to learn?
Mm-hmm.
We had another significant setback on the GLEP side of things. Go figure.
Yes, I was dying. Do you want I feel like two things happen at the same time based on what I'm hearing from other people. But at the financial drag of debt was basically eliminated. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
At the same time.
And at the same time, the customer base is now smaller.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So if you're leaning towards employee owned, what do you think the employee ownership plan is going to be with that? Or do you?
I'm not sure what you're asking, if it's like been diminished because of that, or
if it's going to, I'm assuming there's going to be more voices based on employee ownership. Is that?
It's interesting how that works. It's going to be over time, number one.
Okay.
And most of it is really to help, most of the people there are ones that have been there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And, well, actually not most, almost all of them. And so they've been a big piece of why we've gotten where we've gotten. Mm-hmm. And so one is a thank you for that, right? So they get there's the reward in that. The true ownership, again, there's different mechanisms on how to get it done, and it's going to take time, takes years. So it's not that any of the voices change or any of their power changes in the short term and even long term, because when you still have to have a hierarchy of who's making the decisions.
Right. Okay.
Right. So the intent is not to make anyone voice be different, because we want everyone to participate in the decision making. My hope is that maybe they take a little more risk in how they respond to things in a positive way, because
they'll reap the benefits, they'll understand the benefits.
But I think it's also just a feeling of, right? Because I think in reality, it's not that this is going to leave everyone walking away millionaires. It's not what this is going to be, right? It's the feeling, just another feeling of potentially seeing something they never had or thought they would have. So, that's part of the reason why I've been pushing more internal in this is, not dissimilar to you, I don't know if you've been in dreamland for the past couple of years of you stepping out onto your own and doing your own thing. But there is a possibility of a really, really cool feeling, whether it's ego stroke, whether it's pride, whatever it is, to just say you are a part of something more than just an employee.
Right.
So not everyone is going to get a chance to feel like an entrepreneur through this. Some of them are, the ones that are maybe taking on a bigger chunk and that are taking on more responsibility, they'll get a chance to. But I also hope it's going to bring with it I mean, we have a high level of camaraderie, right? The core we have is phenomenal. But I want to take it even past that. I mean, even getting back to the old ways, right? Ever since COVID, it just feels like it's been so different with the connection with anyone and everyone. I certainly don't want to force people to go to the office. Because again, if they live an hour away, 45 minutes away, half an hour away, that's just a lot of wasted time. But man, being together is so cool. And like even when you came into town, right? It's energy is palpable.
Oh yeah.
So the hope too is that not just that doesn't require us to get together more, but at the same time, get back to the connectiveness that got us where we are. And the team is connected. They obviously talk to each other every day, but are we actually fostering a growth mindset with everyone? Like not just, hey, I'm doing this, and hey, if this doesn't work out, it's okay. But are we thinking differently? Are we thinking beyond our normal customer base? That kind of thing. So long-winded.
Are you going to change are you just going to be a Bloom growth coach, or what is your?
That's my long-term plan.
Okay.
And my desire. And the team knows that. And we can't flip the switch and I see you later. But, I mean, and ultimately the team has been the one that's been running and growing the company for the past few years. My role has shifted and changed, right? I'm not in the day-to-day, but I'm doing some other strategic things. And I want to continue doing some of those, but I also, part of it is there's maybe a figurative, probably literal passing of the torch of again, uncomfortable growth, of having the team's been doing the work. Now let's have them own output, own the end game of growing this to their dreams, and not based on what I input. Because my heart and energy is in doing that for companies. So not just with Glep.
Okay. All right. So what are your contact handles these days?
Well, I do have love handles that I'm working on. But no, so you can find me on LinkedIn, John Glon. It rhymes with an H, John with an H. I am Glon.John, Instagram, and Facebook, same thing, John Glon. And that's also under the Roll Call podcast that Julie was my number 2 in my awkwardness of launching that. She didn't know she was going to be on it, but we had her be on it right away when we were in New Orleans. And just you can Google search Bloom Growth Coach John Glon, and it'll go to my landing page. And email john.g@bloomgrowthcoach.com.
Okay.
Yeah, connect with Julie. She'll connect me.
Yes, I am the connector. All right. Yeah. I heard that blip come on. So I know you have to go for sure. So thank you so much for catching up with me and sharing your story. And I may see you in New Orleans.
Yes. Love it. Please do.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were working and completely lost track of time? Recently, this happened to me at a coffee shop. I was planning to work for a couple of hours, and 6 hours later, I realized I was still there. Not because I had to be, but because I was working in my working genius. What if more people got to work that way? That's the idea behind Enjoy Workforce Solutions. Recruiting built around how people are wired to work, so the right role energizes them, and your team feels the difference. Discover what that could look like for your organization. Visit Enjoy Workforce Solutions.